after the loss Saturday? How the guys responded to practice this week thus far?
Our guys are just happy we had a couple of days off. Let's be honest. I purposely didn't tell them we were off Monday until we texted them during the day, and I heard there were guys running around University Park Apartments screaming for joy that they had another day off. So this time of year, getting rest is just as important as practice. But the second part of that is we need practice. We did not get a lot of practice in January for two reasons. Had a lot of games, and Jermaine Lawrence being hurt, Deshaun Mormon being out. Both of those guys are practicing now, so we're able to practice 5-on-5, which we really need. We won a lot of games. We didn't play our best. We won with defense. We won with leadership, but just trying to clean some things up. So it's as good as a coach to have some practice time.
They're real good.
Oh, excited as you can tell.
Just the Houston game, you had them down 19 the last time. You kind of had to hold on. But I guess it's a different thing at home, right?
It's going to be a close game if you only score 61 points. They were down 19 because we had 40 at half. So you end up with 61. It's going to be a close game. The only result that matters, the only score that matters, that final score. So. Again, you score 75, 80. I like our chances at a W, sometimes a comfortable W. But, we did not play well on the offensive end in the second half against Houston. Missed a lot of open shots. We had a lot of foul trouble. It was our first game without Jermaine Lawrence, so we were still kind of figuring out what we were going to do without him. So it's just a long time ago. I'd say that game has no bearing on Saturday's game at all, really. They're a team that can score. They've had their defensive struggles, but they can score. So, Temple is a team that would be similar to them, in my opinion, in our conference. So I think we're going to have to put the ball in the basket to win against Houston.
You won 18 in a row at home. The crowds have gotten better in conference play, as I'm sure you expected they would. How much of a home court advantage has that grown into be for you? Is it more than it was earlier in the year, or maybe in previous years?
I think in the last 3 years, this being the fourth, that we haven't had a home court advantage until our last 5 home games. I think, and that's been pretty consistent over the last 4 years. In the last, you get closer to the NCAA tournament, the crowds have been consistently picking up. I think. I might actually be right for once if you go back and look at it on that. I'd say our attendance numbers have been strong towards the end of the season, especially when you're having a good year and you're headed for the NCAA tournament. Interest picks up, and our marketing department picks up, and I think those are factors.
That does make a difference.
A home court advantage makes is a tremendous difference. Just ask our guys about SMU's last weekend. You were there. Yeah.
Coach, you said for a long time during the win streak, one loss could bump us out of the rankings. You only dropped to 10, still a top 10 team. Any reaction to that?
Well, I think it's who you lose to. It's all about who you lose to. You lose to another top 25 team on the road. Nobody really penalizes you for it. The hardest thing in this league are that you got to win games versus the teams that have struggled. Houston, obviously, being one of those teams. We have 3 of those remaining: Houston, Central Florida, and Rutgers. Those will be killer RPI losses for us. Those will drop you out of the rankings. I'm more concerned with our RPI and our tournament seeding and playing well. So, but yeah, to answer your question, that's the key. You want to know why we didn't drop very far.
Down the stretch here, talk about SK and his leadership and how important it's going to be for you guys to see this going into the tournament.
Yeah, I think when you start to smell that the end is near. You got to have some guys that don't want the season to end. My experience in college basketball that's a big factor. Some teams are looking for the finish line, and others are doing the dead opposite. They don't want it to end. You got guys like we've had all year. SK being one of them, our seniors in particular. They got big plans for what they want to try to accomplish. And they've been working towards it all year, so hopefully that continues. I think that's a tremendous factor in who makes tournament runs in March.
The old Big East, like you said, it was very greatest conferences in the history of college basketball last few years. Is it easier to keep guys fresher this season in this conference than it was when you were kind of going through the rigors of the Big East?
Whenever you win, it's a lot of things are easier. Eating food, solid food, is a lot easier as the coach.
Yeah.
I would say if you're the biggest difference when you talk about winning versus losing, you can play well and lose against really good teams. And if you're playing against ranked team after ranked team, in the greatest conference ever, you're going to have some losses, even though you're playing well. And you have to massage that as the coach. You could play well and still lose. And in this day and age of social media, you got to keep your team together. And that was the biggest challenge in the league. It is, you're 18-6, so you lost 2 in a row, and to everybody on the outside, the sky's falling. You've lost 2 in a row. Where sometimes the difference could be for me, we win 2 in a row, but we're not playing well. But everybody outside thinks you're great because you're winning. So that goes back to my point about we needed some practice time here to get to where we're playing better. We're playing smarter, we're more efficient. It's not always the coach is doing a good job or the players are doing a good job based on a win or a loss. And that's what makes it hard, in those types of leagues, because you're going to take losses. Just like, that's why I would always reference the NBA. Great teams take losses in the NBA. Championships are won by winning 4 out of 7.
How important do you think that is when you actually do get into March? Teams that have gone through what the Big East was, things like that, as opposed to teams that have maybe had an easier road. Is it? I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I think you look at that. I don't think there's any consistency.
Yeah.
They say some teams get beat up. Well, Louisville didn't get beat up. Connecticut didn't. They won 2 of the last 3. And they came from that league. But they finished. Connecticut finished tied for 9th, 10th, and 11th in the year. Again, I think the key is your leadership. We talked about earlier. Leadership is everything. Guys want to extend the season. Games matter more to your players than the other guys' players. Staying focused. All things that don't show up in a stat sheet, but they will show up. And those are the big reasons that you may be playing well. Is your team they're still mentally engaged.